Okay, the participants are joining in. We're going to wait just 30 more seconds before we get started. Okay, let's get started. Hi, everyone. It's August 12th. It's 6:32 in India. Depending on where you are, I want to say either good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for joining us today. We have a short presentation that we will go through, and after that, we'll have quite enough time to do any Q&A that you might have. We have the high school core team here with me, along with almost all the members of our senior leadership team today joining us for this webinar. We will not do a lengthy introduction of all of us, but as we speak, the first time we will speak, we will introduce ourselves one more time for any parents who are joining us for the first time today and didn't get a chance to meet with us. My name is Iftekhar Saeed. I'm the high school principal. And to begin the presentation, I'm going to share my screen with all of you so that you can follow along as I speak. Thank you. I hope you all can see the screen clearly. Once again, welcome. We are almost in the middle of our second week of high school, second week of school for that matter. And I have heard a lot of reflection and commotion and excitement among our teachers in how the first 6-7 days almost now of school has gone. As a parent of an 8th grader and a 5th grader, my kids are super excited and extremely happy to be connecting with their friends and with their teachers and with their learning. So it's been going great in my home for sure. I hope that sentiment is echoed in your home as well, whether you have elementary, middle, and high, or any combination of those three divisions. It's been great in my home. In this webinar, just like always, for any of the webinar we do, the chat is disabled for the participants. We will have a Q&A. We will wait till towards the end, most likely, of our presentation to answer any Q&A in a written form, because we would like really all your attention to be focused on our presentation. And then when we get to Q&A, we can answer as many questions you might have. And please, if you do use the Q&A option, use one question at a time. That way it's easier for us to organize our answers, and it's easier for you to follow the answers of those questions. So thank you for that. So our purpose today, as you know, we started our online Connected Campus program on August 4th, which was last Tuesday. And we will have this system for a few more weeks at least. So today, we will really go through the expectations and the schedules of what is going on and what will be going on in the next few weeks in high school. So we'll talk a lot about that Connected Campus while it is online for our students and families. Now, the next step after the online would be the hybrid system, where we have a combination of instructional program where some instruction is happening online and some instruction is happening in person at school. We will not be getting into that today. We will have a separate webinar in the future to explain the ways that you will do the hybrid system. But one thing that you can be assured of is what we are putting in place for our online system, much of it, if not almost all of it, will stay in place even if you go to hybrid system. because even in hybrid system, at least 50% of our students or more will be online at any given day or week. So we have been very methodical and systematic in our thinking, so that when we go from online to hybrid, we don't have to change much of our programming, and we have been intentional about that. So you will see a lot of things staying the same when we go to hybrid. This is the team, the high school core team that I mentioned to you before. Reminder about Q&A again. And with that, I'm going to invite Darwin to talk about the next few slides. Darwin?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Saeed. Hello, everyone. My name is Darwin Kitch, and I'm the assistant principal here at the American Embassy School. Before we move on to our talk about Connected Campus, we thought we'd share once again just our priorities for the school year. The social, emotional, and physical well-being of our students is paramount, and we have a great new social emotional counselor who's working with our grade 9s right now and going to be working with eventually every student this semester. Our academic programming is a priority, as it is every year. One of the most important things that we can do is to build the leadership capacity of our students, and not only just our students, but our faculty as well. And the AES community becomes stronger when we all grow. Community engagement is vital, and Dr. Torres will be talking about the importance of partnerships later on. And last night we actually met the high school leadership team, and our counselors met with our Boston consultant to discuss the first steps in reviewing our counseling program. And this is just a series of program reviews that we're working on because we're constantly reviewing what we do. Thank you. So this is our agenda for today. What we really want to focus on is talking about the schedule for Connected Campus, what that looks like. And then we're going to transition to what are the expectations for students and teachers, and also for you, the parent community. So our Connected Campus starts on Monday, August 17th, and the schedule is there. So we'll just leave that up there for a little bit and talk through a few points. The timings are on the left-hand column there, and those are all IST times. Monday and Tuesday, we'll go through a rotation from 1 to 8. So Monday's periods 1 through 4, and Tuesday's 5 through 8. And from 4 to 4:40, we're going to run clubs, activities, and service clubs. Now that's going to look different this year, obviously, just because of the situation. And I know Mr. Nelson and Ms. Garg are working really hard behind the scenes to get information out and to plan and try to make that come together as best as we can. That information should be coming out at the end of August or early September there as well. I'm going to jump ahead to Thursday and Friday, and Thursday will be periods 4 through 1, and Friday will be periods 8 through 5. Now Wednesday is a no new work day. I had to practice that lots before this, but no new work day for students here as well. But there's going to be some special things going on there, and I'm going to pass that on to Ms. Gelming to talk about now.
Thank you, Mr. Kitch. My name is Teresa Gelming, and I'm the IB, AP, and mini course coordinator. And I'll be mentioning a few things about this special Wednesday schedule before we move on to the expectations for parents, teachers, and students. So as you can see here, I'll focus on the things relevant to IB and AP. That on Wednesdays, there will be an opportunity for students in our our AES taught classes for AP and our IB year 1 and year 2 classes, but at the higher level only. And you can see some repetition here. There's a column for year 1 and year 2. In year 2 at 10:20, part of what's happening there and why you see so many is that our students may be doubling up. So they may be taking economics and history, or chemistry and computer science, or chemistry and biology. So in year 2 or year 1, you might see some subjects repeated. A student who has both classes in either economics, history, psychology, or in the sciences, they would figure out either for themselves or with their teacher whether they attend the morning session or the afternoon session. And so the next slide has the afternoon session. And as I said, you can see 2 slots for our AP students as well, and you can see the additional time that we have for some after-school activities. So in terms of some details, we anticipated questions that teachers would have and presumably questions that you would have as well. So these sessions on Wednesday are only for HL students, okay? We want to be able to have the teachers focus on HL specific curriculum, either a deeper dive or the additional work that HL students have to do. And we're also mindful of balance. And so Wednesday is also about well-being. And so we don't want students in sessions for every class. So again, they should only be going to sessions for HL. So they'll have one for every class, 60 minutes as the schedule said. That could involve some new content, but we've clarified that any homework that might come from that would not be due until the following Wednesday. So there wouldn't be homework on a Wednesday night that's due on Thursday, for example, Thursday or Friday. It should be spaced out more than that. And there may not be homework at all. It may just be focused work during that time. And that should be made clear on the week at a glance, or the WAG. And you'll find a lot of collaboration. And so a single teacher may be handling, say, all the HL biology that may or may not be your child's HL biology teacher, but the team has collaborated. So that was just one example that you might see something a little different on Wednesday, or hear about something different on a Wednesday from your child. And this does include everyone in an HL class, either year 1 or year 2. And we don't distinguish between whether they are IB course candidates doing individual IB classes or diploma candidates doing the full IB program. Even a senior who's in a year 1 HL class will still go to this additional session. And one thing I wanted to mention, I've sent out an email recently about the year 2 HL, that the IB has announced that they are adapting some of the assessments for May 2021. I wanted you to know that that adaptation has been announced. It's fairly detailed. Its main audience is teachers. So when I send an email to the parents of IB Year 2 students, I did not include all that level of detail. The teachers are going through it, and they'll be sharing it with their students. They'll be adjusting their curriculum as needed. So some things that happened on Wednesday related to the students outside of India, the same rules apply. We want them taking care of themselves. We want them getting sleep. So if there is a HL session that's between 9:30 p.m. and 6:30 a.m. in their time zone outside of India, they should watch the recording of the class and check in during office hours with the teacher. And the doubling up part I mentioned there, I've already explained that. And I'll turn it over to Ms. DeCarty.
Okay. Good morning or good evening, everybody. My name is Amanda DeCarty, and I am the new high school technology coordinator for those of you that I have not met or seen yet. I'm going to share with you some of the expectations for students. As we really enter our full online learning mode next week, we want to be really clear on what the expectations are for all of our community stakeholders. And so we're going to begin with some of the most important ones, and those are the students. We've been very intentional about having expectations for students in India and outside of India. For the students that are in India and in that time zone, if a synchronous class is scheduled, it is mandatory that they attend that class. It is not optional for them. Having that direct contact with the teacher is really important and something that should be taken advantage of. If students will be absent, and that does happen, we would like for the students to take the initiative to go ahead and email their teachers to let them know that they will not be attending. But most importantly, we want them to copy you as parents, just so that we can go ahead and continue that communication with you and make sure everybody is in the loop. As Ms. Jelming mentioned, we do have our Week at a Glance document, which will be posted every Saturday evening, IST time, for every single class. We've worked hard with the teachers to coordinate this effort. And so we want the students to take the time then to check the Week at a Glance every Sunday so that they can go ahead and appropriately begin to use those skills of planning their week as we practice during those first 8 days. And then finally, for the students in India and elsewhere, is adhere to the Zoom expectations that we're talking about. Now, for the students that are outside of India, we want to take very special care of them, recognizing that they may want to be in India and they aren't there. You are only required to attend a synchronous class between 6:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. in your time zone. They may be tempted to stay up late or wake up extra early, but there is no expectation to do that. Now, if they don't attend, we ask that they watch the video for that class before the next class date. Every teacher has created a folder in their Google Classroom. They are recording those sessions, they'll upload them, and so they'll be available for students. And then finally, if they're not able to attend, and after they've watched the video, they should attend office hours to meet with their teacher. That office hour can be 5 minutes long, it could be 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, but it's important to us, it's important to our teachers that they connect with students and look them in the eyeballs one-on-one so that they can have that connection with them about the material that was presented. Now, let's go ahead and talk about those Zoom expectations. Pretty straightforward, but we do want the students to go ahead and join, not right when the meeting starts, but about 3 to 5 minutes before the class actually starts. We are asking that all students have their video on and their face visible and microphone muted during that teaching time, that synchronous class. The research shows that engagement is much higher and the students are just much more engaged with the material if the video is on. We recognize that maybe some students may be uncomfortable with that, and our teachers are looking out for that. We'll work with our counselors, teachers to make sure that students have that higher comfort level. No virtual backgrounds as they are distracting at times. And then students should have their full name visible along with their preferred name in any parentheses. That space for conducive learning is very important and a challenge for families sometimes that are not in school. I know in our house, we'll have 4 people online at any given time, and we're always playing rock, paper, scissors to see who gets which space. But it's something to think about and be intentional about. The next thing is proper attire for an educational setting. It's very tempting for us adults and students to perhaps stay in their jammies in the morning or to just be a little bit more casual because in their home, but it's important that they dress appropriately for school, and it helps with that mindset. Active participation is also expected and going to be encouraged. And then we put a couple of guidelines in there just in case the technology is not cooperative. If the teacher gets connected, they should go, or the teacher gets disconnected, the students should go check their email, and then they'll have a short wait time. If the teacher is unable to join, they can leave after 15 minutes, but they should get some direction from their email. Finally, we are recording all of those sessions so that students that are not in the India time zone can go ahead and watch those classes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Mr. Saeed.
Thank you, Amanda. One of the ways that we all could be successful or more successful is by having a tighter relationship between the students, parents, and the school. And when I say school, I mean mainly the teachers, but also the counselors and administrators. The relationship among those 3 groups, parents, students, and school, is really one of the biggest indication of how successful our students will be. It has been true all along, but I think in this situation that we are right now, it's even more important that the relationship is there. And one way we foster our relationship is having clear expectation on both ends. So I will actually go slow and really go point by point so that we are clear in sharing what we are hoping that how we're going to partner with our parents in this journey and support our students at home and at school. One of the biggest thing you can do for your students every week is find a time every Sunday, whether it's after lunch or before dinner or after dinner, whatever suits your schedule, is to sit down with them and ask them to go through their WAG for each of their classes. 9, 10, 11 grade students will have 7 courses every week, 7 different courses. 12 graders will have either 6 or 7 courses every week. So every Sunday, if you could sit down with your student and go through the WAG, which will be a one-page document for each course. And that one-page document should outline what the students will be learning that week, that upcoming week. When are some of the synchronous sessions? What will be the homework? And especially what are some of the big assignments that might be due on that week? And even though our high school students are, in many ways, well, most of them are taller than me, but many of them act like they know better than their parents. I know mine does. But still they're teenagers, and we have to really help them organize their time and organize their week. So I really would request all our parents to sit down and find half an hour, 40 minutes time. It shouldn't take more than that at the most, to sit down and say, show me your WAG for English, show me your WAG for math and social studies and science and all the other classes they're taking. And highlight and then make a point on whatever assessment that you see that's coming up, whatever assignments or projects that are coming up, and help them plan their week. Wednesday is gonna be a great day for many of those students who might fall slightly behind on Tuesday and Monday and Tuesday in finishing all the work, so that you utilize that Wednesday time appropriately. For Thursday, Friday, maybe a bit of time on Saturday to catch up on the homework. But they will need some support at home from you. We are not seeing them like we always do. We have supervised study hall and other ways to support our students when they fall behind, but in virtual situation, it's not possible. So we will really rely on you to make sure that you do that every week. Some of these points that you see here in this screen already have talked about, but if your student gonna miss a mandatory synchronous session, as a parent, please email Ms. Sanctum at the high school office. She take care of the attendance. As a parent, you should let the school know, and as a student, we would expect that students letting the individual teachers know if it is just one class that they're missing. Another biggest change and wish that we have from our parents is to be very consistent in using PowerSchool this year. We are asking our teachers to update their PowerSchool gradebook every second and fourth Wednesday of the week, of the month. So twice a month they'll be updating, and the reason for that is to really give parents and students an idea of what things are missing. Is there homework that's missing? Is there assignment that's late? So please make a time. If it is every other Sunday, when you're looking at the WAG, you say, great, it's been 2 weeks, open up the PowerSchool and let's see. Now, parents have separate login for PowerSchool and have the similar access to PowerSchool to see the grades as students. So if you need any help with getting your login, please contact the main tech and they'll help you. You can also ask your student to open up their PowerSchool and log in, ask them to log in if you don't have your PowerSchool login information handy. But please take time twice a month to go through each of their classes in the PowerSchool, and you will be able to see the assignments they're doing, the homework they're doing, especially if there's something missing. Of course, we will rely on you to make sure that they go to bed on time and they wake up early enough so that they're ready for school. It is, as much as we treat this as a school that starts at a certain time and ends at a certain time, the better it will be for our students to manage their schedule. So set a bedtime, set a wake up time, and stick to it. I know I have to fight that battle quite often in my home with my 2 students. So we will not be able to help you with that, but we would rely on you to do that at home. If you have any question or concern, please email the teacher first. If it is a concern about social, emotional, or other counseling need, of course, please email the counselors as well, or just email the counselor if needed. But in any academic question or concern that happens to have a teacher on the other end, please communicate with teachers directly. Another thing we have had in the month of April, May, when we are doing the online learning, was an issue of internet access. Depending on the speed at home and how many users are using that at the same time, it can fluctuate. So make sure that you have a robust internet connection at your home for the adults and the students. And the last point is an optional thing. All our classes are run through Google Classroom, which has a feature that allows parents to get either daily or weekly update. And it's it's an option for parents to choose. If you choose daily, you will get a daily email with any updates in the Google Classroom. If you choose weekly, you will get a weekly update. But if you utilize the WAG every week, every Sunday, and you go through Power School every other week, we know that the looking through the Google Classroom Guardian updates could be an optional thing if you have time to do that, but it will be helpful if you do. Since we talked about the expectation for our students and our parents, I want to touch base on our expectation that we have for our teachers too, because we are all in it together. Teachers must offer one synchronous class every week, and every week they will see your students twice in a regular week. The Wednesday HL AP time will also be synchronous. All synchronous courses will be recorded and uploaded. Every teacher will have office hours. And right now, knowing that almost 20% or a bit over 20% of our students are not in Delhi, we are requesting teachers to save that or keep that office hours for students who are not in Delhi right now, so that once they watch those asynchronous video lessons, they can then get in touch with the teachers on those times. Now you might ask, what happens to the students who are in Delhi who needs extra help? They will be able to ask for help from their teachers during the school day between 8 and 4 p.m. They have free blocks every other day. They have a bit extra time during lunch. They also have a 5-minute extra during break right now. So they will have multiple opportunities throughout the day between 8 and 4 p.m. Delhi time to ask for extra support from their teachers. But for the office hours, that's really is separated for the students who are not made it to Delhi yet. The Wednesday, the APHL students will be meeting. Our average students who are doing a full diploma takes 3 HL on average. Some take less than 3, but so at the most they will have 3 hours of HL time, our 11 and 12. Our AP courses also have some 10th grade student. They're taking AP United History, US History, and also AP Statistics. And those students, even though they're in 10th grade, they will be doing some additional work for the AP courses during Wednesdays. And all teachers know that they will be updating and then posting that WAG every week by end of Saturday, so the parents can sit down with their students on every Sunday. And as Mr. Kitch has mentioned earlier, we will really get going with our activities and service programs in the beginning of September. We are allowing our students to really get their schedule done and their kind of day going for the academics right now in the next two weeks or so. And then we'll slowly start our activities program starting the beginning of September. And more information will come from Mr. Nelson and Ms. Garg about that. Now I will invite our director, Dr. Andy Torres, to say a few words about his message to the community.
Thank you, Iftikhar. I appreciate the time you're giving me, my morning, everyone's evening and afternoon. I have been sitting here with great interest watching this information come across the screen, and been talking with Iftikhar and his team a lot, as I'm an interested parent as well this morning. And I want to compliment and thank the high school team for the details they provided to everyone this morning. And I know that probably if you're like me, you're feeling like, wow, this is a lot of information. I hope that I can remember it all. And you may be taking copious notes either on a piece of paper next to you or on your computer. But I want to reassure you, you can rewatch this, and we will provide this information out to you as soon as we get it recorded and uploaded. I think that you probably have read my messages the last couple of weeks around the importance of the investment of parent time in your children's education. And I think that that could be no more true now in this current context than any other time in probably history. Our children and we are experiencing an educational context that is completely different than when any of us have ever experienced before. The mere idea, actually, of running classes online, both asynchronously and synchronously, in the manner in which we are doing now around the world, not just at AES, would be outside of the capacity of technology, even just a few years ago. And because of the changing context of technology, the increasing internet access abilities, we see an interesting ability for us to meet kids at different ways. And I believe it's going to change the way our educational system is going to provide education well into the future. But for right now, it also makes us think very carefully about how we as parents integrate with our children in their educational experience. I have to remind myself as a parent that it's my daughter's education that she is participating in. It is not mine. And that I can't go diving into her schoolwork and making sure she's doing it in the way that I expect it to be done. But instead, I have to seek to understand how I can build a partnership not only with her, but also with the school and with her teachers. And so, as I said in the Tiger Tales last week, building partnerships with your children's teachers is very, very important. And so I urge you to get to know these very, very interesting people. They come from diverse backgrounds. They are invested in your children's success. And they want nothing more than to see your kids get fantastic marks, show great success, but most importantly, they want to see your children learn and integrate the content which they're providing to them. They want them to apply it and think and study in big ways, to think about the world in unique patterns. And so I encourage you, connect with the children's teachers, know them as educators, and know them as people who are supporting your children's success. With that comes challenges. You're going to run into problems along the way. No school is perfect, and AES is not a perfect place either. As much as we work super hard to try to cover every possible detail, there are going to become problems that are come up, and it may be things that Iftikhar and his team have already addressed. Things like internet connection, people getting dropped off, people traveling, not being able to get in the right time zones. Maybe it's just a struggle with content or a particular concept or skill. Those are going to come up. There may be some concerns about the way the classroom is being operated and how your child is connecting with that. I urge you, please reach out to the school, talk to the classroom teachers, reach out to the school counselors, connect with Mr. Carty, Mr. Keach, Mr. Syed. Make sure that all of the people who are inside of the school and who can solve your problem feel and know your concern. If it's an IB problem, please reach out to Ms. Hilding and make sure that you and the school are on the same page. I know it's really easy and very commonplace for people to say, you know, I'm just going to go to a friend. I know that they may know the answer, or hey, have you run into this problem? But what I have found over 34 years of being in education is that each individual has their own sort of turn or view or perspective on the concerns that they bring. The world is full of shades of gray, and we all participate in that. And so as a diverse and inclusive culture at AES, we're here to help. Finally, I do encourage you to look at those Google announcements, those Google notifications that come out from your children's classroom, but also from the school itself. I've been very, very impressed with the daily communication that is coming out to the internal community, our teachers. I see some great communication coming out from our administrators, and of course, you'll have the weekly Tiger Tales, which is going to continue to develop as we move through this school year. Going back to my first point, investing time and energy in your children's education is very, very important. And that investment will pay off in your children's success. We are here at AES to build a partnership with you. And I look forward to getting to know all of you on a personal basis, face-to-face, very soon, coming up into the campus programs at AES. We are looking forward to some news from the government around the opening and the style of opening for our school in the coming next couple of weeks. And as soon as we know, we will get some information out to you right away on the timing. But our team is currently in process of planning for that development onto our campus, and I'm looking forward to seeing students in classrooms very soon. I'm going to turn it back over to Iftikhar and let him close out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Torres. We are almost to the end. Before we move on, I just want to remind everyone about the website we have, as you see on the screen right now, that has a lot of information and our other webinar videos that are uploaded there, so you could access those through that website. Another, I think, big idea that is floating around in parents' mind, I'm sure, is how we're going to do back to school night this year. How is that going to happen? And the three principals, we met a couple of days ago, and we are planning for it, and we're going to space out those back to school nights and make sure that it's suitable for all our parents so that they are not overbooked in any given night. The high school back to school night will happen through the week of August 31st. And only thing I will say right now is that it won't be all at the same night. In each night, you will be able to get to meet two of your students' teachers, so that you have the time to absorb the information that is given to you from the teachers, and you have time to talk to your students about this information. And you will run through that process over a period of 5 days, so that by the end of that week, you have met all the teachers that your students have, and you have all the information that you are hoping to get from those teachers. So that more information will come. It will be online, of course. We will utilize our Zoom functions to get connected, but it will happen for sure. One more information just to pass on. We have tweaked the dates for our future parent webinars for high school. If it was a regular school year, at the end of the first week, what we do is we bring in all the 9th grade parents who are all new to high school, and any new parents who are in 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And we kind of go through a bit of a high school 101 assembly with them. Now, in this year, we have done a lot of those webinars and given a lot of those information already throughout the month of July. But I still feel that actually, because many parents have joined us in different times, and some just joined in last 5-10 days, we will actually have another session that just focused on the new parents, new families. And that really involves all the 9th grade parents, because they're all new to high school, but any other parents in 10, 11, 12. and that will happen on August 26th. And we're going to switch the time. We're going to do it in the morning instead of the evening. We will obviously record it and put it out to the community so that anyone who is not able to be there can watch it later. But the August 26th will be an hour-long discussion and really get a bit more into what high school is all about when it comes to grading, reporting, programs, expectation. So please join us on August 26th if you're a new family. And then beyond that, we'll be meeting by grade level. The 11 grade students and IB Year 1 parents, they will have a session with the high school team, and Ms. Jelming will join us that day and talk about the IB program and as the journey that they will go through this year and next year as a junior at AES. And that will happen again on 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on September 9th. And that same day, we'll have a separate session for the 12th grade parents. And they will come in the evening, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that will focus on all things senior, class of 2021. And there'll be the one of many, many times we will meet as a 12th grade parents community with the high school administration and other faculty members to make sure that our high school seniors are getting and senior parents are getting what they need to get in terms of information and support. So please keep an eye on those. We will remind you of those dates, and we'll share the links and information as the time comes. But August 26th and September 9th, please put that in your calendar so that we can meet again. I think we are at the end. Yes. And at this point, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and we'll go into a live Q&A session. So thank you, and we're gonna stop this. And here we are. I know we have some questions in the Q&A. I welcome anyone in the panel to jump in to answer any of those. I haven't got a chance to look at it. So one question is, as a parent, where can I find the weekly WAG? So those weekly WAG, the week at a glance document, will be published through the Google Classroom by each teacher for each of their courses. So as a parent, you don't have a direct access to Google Classroom, but you really have to sit with your student and ask them to show you. And that's maybe, it might seen as another step, but I think it'll be, you will need your student next to you to understand those anyway. So please sit down with your student and ask them to open their Google Classroom, and there'll be a link right on top that will be published or updated every week. So please sit down every Sunday and ask your student to show the WAG in their laptop. I'm looking through the other questions. There's a question about how to predict this IB scores. Right around October time, we have to send a predicted score to some of the universities that they require predicted score for college admission for our senior class. Yes, we didn't have the normal ending of the year, and this is a different start, but our teachers will go through the formative assessment, and they will have some summative by the time we have to do the prediction anyway. So our teachers will know how to get that done properly. It's not gonna look exactly the same as last year because it's not the same as last year. There's a question on when the physical school is going to open. We don't know yet. As Dr. Torres mentioned, that we will communicate that when we know. I know the administration team is working with the board of governance, and we also have to look into the Delhi government and their policies. So when we decide that, you'll be the first one to know. Anyone else in the panel to add anything to any of the answers?
So I see a question about how would the changed IB exam pattern affect the children? So I'm not 100% sure of the question, but what I mentioned earlier applies only to year 2 IB classes. And so that is the second year of a 2-year IB course. And so that is just for May 2021 because of the disruptions to their program. Any adjustments that might be made for students who are just starting the IB program will be sorted out later as we go through the program. A lot has happened in the last 5 months with their learning and our teaching. And so I think there's a lot that could happen during in the next 5 months, and things could be normalized and maybe adjustments wouldn't be needed. So I would please ask you to have some faith in your teachers and in the students and their motivation for learning, and understand that the IB is taking each exam session as it comes, because it's a constant assessment of what is happening in the world, how disruptive have things been, and so on. So.
Thank you, Ms. Jelming. I see a question about how long synchronous Zoom classes will last. We are following that schedule that was shared earlier in this presentation. They're 90-minute classes, but I want to say that we've focused a lot on instructional design for these classes, and this is not going to be a straight lecture for 90 minutes. We're being very intentional about designing the time we have with students between direct instruction, breakout rooms, and small group discussions. So if you have further questions about that, please do reach out to me.
Just to add, it is actually 80-minute classes with a 20-minute passing time for students from one class to another. So 80-minute classes every day. I'll answer the question on the SAT and ACT. We are a testing site for the College Board SAT. We are not a testing site for ACT as of throughout the last year. So ACT has changed their testing module and how they offer it. And our students who end up taking ACT, they take it in other testing sites in Delhi. We are not a testing site for ACT, but for SAT, College Board, we are a testing site, and it will have it on August 29th here at AES. Someone requested to talk again about the IB predicted scores. So as I was saying earlier, the teachers, most of our teachers who are returning, they will have the same students going forward. The new teachers have a lot of information from teachers who left in going into senior class, and they will work with the students. They will have a lot of formative assessments. They will have the assessment data from last year, from their year 1 courses, and those IB prediction will happen in the month of October. We haven't heard anything different from universities in terms of what they expect. They might end up changing some of their timeline, might not, but as that comes to us as information from universities, we will keep you all posted about when and how we will roll that out in terms of IB predicted grades in October. Yeah, any any webinar or Zoom call we do with our parents will be recorded and shared for anyone to listen later on. So the August 26th webinar about the high school 101 part 2, you might say, in terms of getting a bit more about what happens and how things happens in high school. Of course, we'll record it and we'll share it with all parents so that anyone can look into and read and listen.
Iftikhar, I'll jump in and support with the question about the 9th and 10th grade student expectations on no new work Wednesdays. And you'll help me out if I don't hit this exactly. My name is Nada Collins, and I am the Deputy Director for the American Embassy School. And essentially, no new work Wednesday is a school-wide initiative. It's about wellness, it's about health, it's about balance. It's also a catch-up day for students. For some of us, as my kids are a little bit younger, they're not in high school yet. For me as a parent as well, in terms of how I support them. It's an opportunity just to kind of provide some balance and a greater amount of collaboration for our teachers as they're working together asynchronously themselves to ensure that they're collaborating effectively for students and for preparation. So school-wide in general, that's a time to meet that need. And as Mr. Saeed and his team has explained throughout the presentation, for our students in IB and AP, there are some additional demands. And so we've made some caveat there that they do have the opportunity for those classes. But for 9th and 10th or non-IB and AP classes, it would be as it is for the rest of the school, giving students, as we said, some balance and some opportunity to catch up.
Thank you, Dr. Collins. Yeah, that's exactly, it is a way to bring balance to our students' life. And for 9th and 10th grade, that will be a day that they will be able to jump into the CC activities and other check-ins with their counselors and check-in with their friends, and maybe form a group study session with their friends who are around, and to do some group work on their own without the teachers present, if they want to catch up with the work that they might have missed on Monday and Tuesday. So it's a way to not keep all our students fixated in that screen all day, every day of the week. So please help your students to take a break from screen on Wednesdays if they don't have to. Ask how long are you using this machine on a Wednesday, because it should be a no new work day. So probe into that and allow them to do other things on Wednesday. That's the purpose. There's a question about virtual college tours. It is starting to happen, and we're getting more and more information. And I would like to keep an eye on our counseling website, and I will ask the counselors to push it out to parents as they come. It really ends up happening more into the month of September, October, those virtual college tours, big college fairs. But because of the situation we're in right now, there more are popping up every week actually. So we have a college counseling blog that gets updated, and we will post those information in college, the blog post, and we'll make sure that we add those information also in our Tiger Tail as they come. So every week when you get the Tiger Tail from the director's office, look through the email and make sure you kind of jump into the high school link to see what's the update on the college side. Mr. Keith, you want to answer the question on the time zone team?
Sure. Sorry, I'm just having a look here. Or Ms. DeCardi, were you going to answer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, Ms. DeCardi, go ahead.
I think we're referring to the question about for students that are outside of Delhi, should they be attending those Zoom meetings on Wednesdays? I also have a child outside of Delhi right now who is an HL who has 3 classes to attend on Wednesday. We're following the same rules where they do not need to attend classes between 6:30 a.m. And 9:30 p.m. their time. So if they do not attend those, the same rules apply. They should watch the recording, and then they should go ahead and connect with their teacher during their office hours to schedule that time just to have that personal connection to ensure that they stay up to date and are feeling supported.
There's a question on IB Group 6. Group 6, Group 5, Group 4, all those will all be Zoom classes at this point. There is no difference between any of those classes. So yeah, we will run all those classes through Zoom. There's a question on how do we manage the club activities. As we said, more information will be coming, but we'll have some clubs and some activities every day of the week. Monday and Friday will be more of the clubs. Tuesday and Thursday will be more of the service. And on Wednesday will be ECCC and a few other options for our students. So it is mimicking a regular week in school in some ways, but in some ways it will be different, and it will be all virtual at this point. And there will be activity fair like usual time, and kids will get to know what we're offering, what we're offering, who will be leading, and they will be able to sign up for those activities and clubs towards the end of August, beginning of September. So those information will come. There will be a survey or a sign up for all our students in appropriate time. It is 1 minute to 7:30. I really want to thank all of the parents who joined us today. I also want to thank all the panelists who joined to answer these questions and be with us, even though it's different timing and early morning for many of them. I will hope to see you all again in August 26th. Any new parents, if you're not new and if you just want to hang out with us, please join on the August 26th. That'll be great. But especially for new families, please join us because we will give you a better understanding of how the high school works at AES on that day. There are some thank you notes that are coming to us. So you're most welcome, and thank you for joining us and partnering with us in doing what we need to do for our students. We appreciate everything you do, and we appreciate your confidence and your support to AES. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.